Yes.
What's up, man? That's 2 weeks in a row that I've just hit, go on the show on you when we're like, all right, 6:32. We're rolling here, man.
And I can't stop talking before the intro. Because I don't know, because I'm excited to see you and I want to talk to you. So
I have a terrible habit of, like, I can't end a conversation without like having the last word. Even when I say, like, can you hear me still? Or I know my video is screwed, man. I got to attend to this really fast. I'll try and keep up the conversation, but if you're going to lose my video, like even at the gas station, when people are like, okay, we'll see you next time. I'm like, okay, have a good day. And they're like, thank you. I'm like, I'll see you next time. And I feel like I don't know why, but then I thought it was harmless, so now I just try and I just keep saying something until they don't, because I think they're trained to tell me like the finest farewell kind of deal. So we have this like 12 interchange, 12 goodbye interchange kind of deal. We got a hopping crowd.
It's not what I do. I like to get the hell out of there quickly when things are done.
Well, I've really embraced this working from home, being an entrepreneur, making my own schedule. So like I'll go run errands and I'll just like chat about town and like.
Yes, it is one of the coolest things to do. Like go out, you're on your own. And one thing that I really like to do during the holidays is go out. Like I don't do any shopping or I do it's changed, but I've always had this day where I'm like, I gotta get my shopping done, and so I'm gonna put everything aside, and for that one day I'm gonna go out by myself. And then it's like this thing where like I talk to like 15 people throughout the day, just like, hey, what's up? Like we just happen to like run into that, because for some reason I just feel like really free during that day, and like it's just I'm on my own. This is what I have to do.
It's a happy time,
and
you're bringing joy to the world. It's good.
As through my gift giving and and there's a spirit in the air. But
you're telling yourself you're a good person for spending all this money, and you're feeling good about yourself.
So you just kind of you're free that day, and you're like, and you're just talking to people, and it's one of the best things. I love it. And then you meet new people. It's great.
Yeah, and for whatever reason, I seem to attract or give space or something to the most eccentric people. So I'll find myself in. It's great. I actually really am highly entertained. Like when I go out, that's what I like I hope to find, So anyway, I like our little town. There's no chains or stuff. So if you go to there's a cafe coffee shop that shares a space with a cycling bike shop. So like, you got there's just interesting people coming in and out.
Nice.
And it's a college town. So like you could be like, oh, what are the kids up to these days? And I found myself, I'm like the old man. I'm like, you go out and about like that? And I'm sure that's what adults said about me when I was in college, so.
Look at what they're wearing.
Yeah, they're in their like pajamas or, yellow hair or whatever, it's fun. That's cool. So
look at me. I got a French press. This is new to the equation of proper cup of Joe. So I usually run out of coffee.
Yeah.
And because I have a Keurig and I use that for coffee and stuff. But when I'm sitting here talking for an hour, I run out of coffee. But now I've got this little guy. And look, I go to Paris for a
Right.
couple of
You
days.
come back with a
I
French
come
press.
back with
Yeah.
a French press. I mean, what the hell? I'm very easily influenced by people, I guess.
Do you
I'm
do you
excited about it.
recollect? Do you recollect the last time that I used a French press?
Oh yeah, yeah. That's right.
You're more than welcome to tell the story if you like, but that
Well,
was you. That was the last time I ever used a French press, and that's going back, man. What was that?
first time you used the French press though, too.
Oh, yeah, it's the first and the last. Yeah, with about 7 old fashions and 4 glasses of wine in me at 1 a.m. in Asheville. That's how you get yourself thrown out of a bar. It's just dump the fresh press everywhere, right across the bar top.
I guess I guess I had it in my mind that you're the seasoned server. You're in this industry.
I can talk the talk. I got all the semantics. I can really
if you don't know a French press, basically you put the boiling water in here, you put the coffee in the boiling water, and then you let it sit in there for a while, and then you push this down.
It was at that moment right there. The pushing is what got me. I couldn't quite go a vertical linear push down. I had about a 162-degree angle push.
And we're at the bar, and I guess we're like, it's 12:30 in the morning, but
we weren't
need
driving.
some coffee.
Yeah, we needed coffee. We thought we needed bed is what we needed. We thought we needed coffee, but yes.
And he poured it like this, and it went all over I was very embarrassed for you, and I pointed. I remember there was a lot of pointing fingers and laughing.
If you recall, though, I was not embarrassed. I was living in the moment, and that poor server got an excellent tip that evening, and I didn't get any coffee.
Oh man!
What did you know that there was a young woman that went viral this week, Joe? I don't know if you're familiar or not.
What does viral mean? I'm not following. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was just say we're gonna skip that whole cultural phenomenon explanation. Audience, don't get excited. It's not the one that you think. We wouldn't stoop to those levels here on this show. However,
there was yeah, I do know. So
not there. But
we're not talking about birds.
No hawks. Yeah, we're not talking about our talented friends here.
Thank gosh, I'm kind of tired of it.
I know. But this it was overshadowed. Oh, and this would have been the big virality of this would have been the week of the viral stuff had you all seen it. So this is hog showing. I don't know. It's like a 4-H thing, and apparently with the swine, you're demonstrating how in control of the swine animal you are, as well as the beauty of the animal. Okay. And how you demonstrate that you're in control of it is that you maintain eye contact with the judge. Like the more eye contact you have with the judge who's in the ring with you, and less that you look at the swine is a stronger demonstration of how in control of the animal you are. And there's a farm called Dadson Farms, and they have 2 excellent hog showing kids. That
seems very awkward. Seems like it would be an awkward competition.
Oh, you have no idea about what I'm about to show you then. This girl, when she says eye contact, looks like through the judge's soul, right through the back of their head, man, like just blowing like and then they set this stuff to like heavy metal music. They have totally figured out how to market their pigs. We are showing it on this show. Let me see here if I can get this share screen window to work properly.
Do you know where this farm is?
No, I don't. I'm sorry. I gotta.
Right.
I gotta reset.
Mean to throw you a hardball question.
Well, I got a 1 in 50 shot, I think. So let's try and share this. Is this? We're not showing swine yet, are we? Hang on here. Yeah, it's screwed up. Hang on. This is live action. How about now? Oh, it's not showing anything now. Oh, what the? Okay. For whatever reason, YouTube, or excuse me, Safari and Google just don't play nice with each other. And I'm in Chrome and I'm trying to show Safari. And I feel the moment slipping away because I'm running my yapper here.
Well, I mean, eye contact is a very important thing that I learned when I was a kid, but also it can be a very, it can be, if it's too intense,
It's pretty intense,
you
and I
gotta back
can't
it off.
understand why I default view. Here we go. Now we're gonna look at some. It's not gonna be. I tried to share like the full screen view.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. This is the one. I was showing the wrong window, I think.
Okay. Yeah, we're seeing this. We're seeing this.
Okay. Now the girl in the red in the pen. Here she comes. I regret that it's not in a bigger screen for everybody. I should have uploaded the whole file. Look at this. So you tap the pig on like its shoulders to tell it where to go while you're not looking at it. And oh, this is her brother. His name is Cruz, I believe. See, and that's that dude in the middle is the judge. Look at him staring. He's just like, dude, I got you. I'm gonna straighten. I really regret they're not in. You gotta Google this on your own. Oh, look at her. She's doing her pre-walk stretches. This is the one. This is the business end of things right here. I swear this ends in 20 seconds. We're all done. Not to mention, look at that pig, man. Intense. That's a fine looking pig, man. Yeah. I wish I could have shown it in full screen and given you the full experience. My apologies.
I mean, there's a difference between making eye contact and being menacing. I mean, she's got her head down. She's looking through the top of her, she's looking through her eyebrows. I mean, that's pretty
and it's not even just like a straight ahead square. It's like the scary lady on Halloween. It's like, you think she's gonna put, I don't want to talk bad about a child, but it's a neat. I looked it up because I was like, what is going on here? And the 4-H rules say that you don't want to demonstrate the complete control. You want to maintain eye contact with the judges, and the stronger and more confidence that you exude, the higher your scores will be to, coincide with the quality of your swine.
See, now that this is an interesting thing for me, because how does that become a rule or a way of judging the competition? Like people sat around a table and said, you know what?
They're like, stick with me here. This is how we do it. Did you see there's like six people showing these pigs at the same time, like vying for this weird. It's very odd. I mean, it's right up there with the pageant circuit, man. Like, guess that's just strange.
But that's, I mean, we'll get into this in a little bit, but it kind of relates to our topic of a community of people,
right,
coming up with what things mean. Like that, we're gonna, what it means. If they make eye contact the whole time, then that means they're in control of but because they create that meaning, they're like in this group together. They understand each other, that kind of thing.
Now, could you imagine it if you were like say that's how you walked your dog about the neighborhood? People would call the cops on you. Like, you would get the Baker Act or whatever. Like, you would be like,
yeah, and you're just trying to demonstrate, that you're in control of your dog by staring menacingly into people's souls. That's all.
You've taken whatever chemicals you need to not blink. And you walk your dog about the neighborhood to demonstrate the control that you have of your German Shepherd while tapping it on the shoulder endlessly.
That's funny because because you want to demonstrate that you're in control of your pets,
Yeah.
but I don't know if that's the way. That's a group of people have decided that that's how you show that you're in control of your animal. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
And Danny made a funny point about getting ball pythons to breed that way. But the flip side of that, and I think we're going to dive into this today, but the flip side of it is, what if I showed up with my swine or my python? Well, a python on a leash would get me institutionalized. But like if I showed up with my swine on just like a leash, I'm like, hey, I'm in control. It's on a harness, folks. Just check this pig out, You'd be thrown out. And if there was the equivalent of python showing, what in the world? Holy cow. Like I would be in control of it because they don't do anything. They just sit there. I'd be like, poof, there you go, man, and just stare down the judge. Anyway, I thought it was in fun. It's called Dadson Farms, Dadson. They put like these scenes of death staring the judges to like Metallica heavy metal like music clips. Yeah, it's a great advertisement. Like, what a beautiful time to be alive, right? When like you don't need an ad agency, you just need a cell phone, a pig, some staring, and some Metallica. And I don't know if they sell the meat. I don't know if they like sell the pig, the sperm. I don't know. They're good looking pigs. That was a piebald pig too. I don't know if you noticed.
Oh, it's a piebald pig, which means
splotched. It's got the white splotches like a Dalmatian or a Jersey cow, but it's also like a piebald ball python. We have those.
Yeah, that's what I thought it meant.
Yeah,
but I didn't want to say it because I didn't want to sound stupid.
And we as breeders wanted you to know that you don't know, and that's why we used the big word. That's what we do. It's a little trick I learned in the wine trade.
Spotted. That's all. It's a little trick you learned in the wine trade.
Yeah. If you think you're not going to get a sale, just throw a few words in that they don't understand and make them feel insignificant, and then they'll buy the expensive wine.
There are some in the wine trade. There are some funny words that are used to describe the taste of wine. Is that correct? Oh, and they're like official words to use, right?
Oh, we look for it. Yeah, it's almost like a competition. I had a mentor of mine tell me that a South African grape, a white wine, reminded him of goat urine, and I was like, "This is BS. I'm not." You would never technically describe a wine with hints of goat urine. And he's like, no, that's what it reminds me. And he's this British guy, and truly one of the best mentors, career changing relationships that I've ever had. He was my boss also at the PGA Tour. So I learned a ton from him, but I was like, Mr. Jones, this is.
Well, two problems. One, how do you know that? I'm questioning the background, his background with goat urine at that point.
Yeah.
And then number two, is it really a selling point of?
Well, the idea is to be technically correct or relatable. So it's not about whether somebody likes or dislikes it. It's about accurately describing it so that people could choose whether they like or dislike. Yeah. There were, like Pinot to me reminded like the California, in my illustrious baseball career, I sometimes got to play right field, whereupon I would stand there doing nothing and chew on my glove. And I remember the leathery, salty, dirty flavor. And that's what Pinot Noir reminds me of. So it actually,
so you give the drinker the choice of whether or not they like an old leathery mitt or goat urine. I mean,
yeah. And if you really want to throw people off, you could apply the British accent just to the word urine. So you could say goat urine, and then they really get thinking about it, and you've really got them on the road.
Urine.
Yeah, urine.
That's exactly what I would do. It's funny because I'm joking about it, laughing at it. It's exactly what I would do in that situation because I would be so uncomfortable that I would be like, oh yes, urine. Yes.
Yeah, the urine. So, but And this actually does apply. Like I know the breeders, sellers, the people that in the audience have come across stuff like this. But you read your audience. If average, North Carolina vacationer strolls into my restaurant, I'm not hitting them with I'm not getting them with goat urine anyway. But but sometimes the smoky, woody, metallic flavors of some metallic flavors sometimes of Pinot Noir, I would say, remind me of pencil sharpener shavings. I'm not hitting the average person with that. I'm going, strawberry flavors, little wood, smoke flavor. You're gonna love it with a pizza out of our pizza oven. Boom. But if there's somebody really into wine, I'll be like, hey, you got this woody flavor.
Really interesting.
You got some fire, some smoke, and just a little bit of like almost industrial hints. It reminds me of pencil sharpener shavings. And if they're really into wine, they're gonna be like, "Oh, dude, you nailed it. That was really good. That is what it tastes like, or
that
reminds
is kind of
you
fun.
of."
That sounds really fun. Yeah.
And so, but you could do that with genetics as well when you're like, hey, if I have this and these ingredients and I breed it to this animal, I think this is what I'm going to get. But if you do that to somebody that's, a 19-year-old that loves snake discovery and wants a banana, they're going to be like, good talk. And they're off. They're off to the next table. They're gone.
Yeah. I really want to try this pencil sharpener shavings wine.
Han, Central Coast Pinot Noir. Give it a shot sometime.
I know exactly what you're talking about with that. It's a very specific smell. It's really, yes.
And well, it reminds in like second grade, like my classroom chore at the end of every day was to empty the pencil sharpener. So I remember it wafting up from the trash can when I was banging on the plastic, trash can that I was dumping it into.
Yeah.
I recollect it.
That's really fun. I wish, actually, I mean, I've been to this. We're a part of this wine club down here. It's the chain.
You're gonna get them with it? Do it.
I wish they were more like that. I wish they were like a little bit, now maybe not goat urine, but a little bit more towards that side of the spectrum where they're like, this kind of tastes like blah blah blah, and that would be interesting. That would be really fun.
So, did we just zoom past your one thing? Did you have a one thing?
I have a one thing, but I'll do it real quick.
It's not meant to be rushed. I want to make sure because this is fun stuff because our whole show is about semantics and wording and all of that. We got to get into that. But I like the outside perspective break from all snakes, all time, morph, gene talk. And that's where the one thing comes in.
Well, the one thing is I have a new face. I don't know if you noticed. I have a new face because I went to the eye doctor. And I got my eyes checked. I went in and got the exam, and I realized how high pressure the whole situation is. Now, do you wear contacts or anything like that, or glasses? Anything?
Look, I'm half deaf. I'm going bald. On a good day, I weigh 133 pounds. But let me tell you, man, I can see. I'm up there. I got owls for eyeballs, man.
Oh, look at this. Wine tasting sounds like a bunch of people gaslighting each other.
It's kind of like paying $20,000 for a snake with 4 genes in it because you think that we're gonna get rich. That's what it is, man. It's very strong parallels.
The eyeglasses, there's 2 high pressure situations with eyeglasses. First of all, when they do, is this better or is this better? Now, you don't know any of this.
I've never been. Yeah, no idea.
They put this contraption up to your face.
I have seen pictures of it. Yeah, this big, it's like a Star Wars character on your face. Yeah. And
you read things on the reflected on the wall in front of you, and you read letters and stuff, and they see, and they go, is this better? And they switch the lens, or is this better? And they switch the lens. And these are your eyes that you're deciding on. though that particular moment, and it's so intense, and like I have such a hard time going, is A better or is B
Oh, right.
better? Or and if I get it wrong, then I just
Then
can't see for
you're
until
stuck
the
with
next
that
time I come
prescription.
here.
Yeah, right.
Yes. It's terrible. It's such a high pressure.
Well,
And
did you get it?
it's so
Did you get it
funny
right?
because I think I got it right. So the optometrists, usually optometrists are, I mean, they're doctors that deal with eyes, and of course they deal with, macular degeneration. But most of the time they're just going, is this better or is this better? So they always seem really relaxed and happy.
Yeah.
But when I'm in that room, I'm like, oh, shoot, I got to get this
It
right. I
seems
got to
like
get this right.
it seems like the kind of doctoring I could get into, because it sounds like they're asking you to make the decision, which really
Yes.
alleviates
Well,
any responsibility of them, right? They're just teeing you up. It's just that, do you want the
I've
okay?
never been angry at an optometrist. Never. If there's a problem with my glasses, I always go, well, I made the wrong choice in the room. That's it.
Yeah, because it's on you.
Yeah.
Lots of
The-
malpractice insurance savings on that.
the other thing the other high pressure thing is, then if you wear glasses, then you have to decide on what frames you're wearing.
Right, what you're gonna look like, yeah.
Yeah. And it does change your face a little bit.
It
Does change.
projects, yeah, you could project a whole lot of different attitudes, confidences.
So, and I always go, I'm going to try something different. I'm going to be different this year. And
Right.
And I always just go, all right, it's the same, the standard.
Speed Joe, yeah.
I can't be that adventurous. I'm 45. Maybe at 20, I could have tried something, but I'm 45.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to try to change my face, but I did. These are good. And, my eyes are adjusted to it. But also, I switched from progressives. I don't know if anybody has progressives. Those are like, you have
Careful,
one type of vision.
it's the debate day. I don't know that we want to talk progressives and non.
It is. So it's like you have a different prescription for things up close than you do far away. It's like bifocals, but it's like a blending of whatever. And I did that last time, and I didn't do that this time. And now I have to go like this to read something close to me. And
That's the first they say that breaking your hip is the first step in going downhill. As far as I'm concerned, having to do you have eyeglasses, you shouldn't need to do the adjustment to read. The whole point, you look like an absolute fool right now. Put those things on your head.
I'm just realizing, because you don't really look at yourself when you read like your phone, but yeah, I can see perfectly right now my phone. But if I go like this, yeah, it's all messed up.
So but you look at your phone 99 times a day. You got to do that every time you look at your phone?
Not really.
I'd be right back in that office.
What really do you have to look at your phone? Why does it have to be clear?
No, it doesn't. But
Crap.
Yeah, well, Pope County says they actually know your prescription. They're checking it. They're verifying their findings. What do you think about that? I don't know. I've never been.
You're just verifying when they do this. Oh, okay. All right. That's good to know. Thanks, Pope County.
There you go. You've been absolved. If you were a pig, I'd tap you on both shoulders and tell you to go on your way.
Well, some people might call me a pig, but that's what we're talking about today. It's different meetings and different contexts.
That's true. Hey, before we go really quick, swine is one of those like single and plural words. Is that right? Or is it swines? Swine.
I would say it's just swine. Yeah.
It's a moose. It's a fish. It's sheep. You got all encompassing, just one word. I think. Yeah, I think so. I found myself asking that. Yeah. Rick says we're solving all the problems that you guys. We are. I don't know about you guys, but according to my scorecard, we're batting 1,000 right here.
I can't believe we're at a half hour already. We just talked
gibberish,
about nonsense,
absolute garbage. Yeah, steaming nonsense. Joe, tell us about this snake bite conundrum you came across, man. That got your wheels turning.
Well, it's something that I've always thought about, and we've talked about this a little bit. But I had week I come up with a question to ask at the end of the show if we have time. Now,
Sure.
usually we don't have time and I don't get to ask my question. But my one question that I had, and it was last week, was about snake bites. Like, do you deal with snake bites? Are you afraid of getting bitten by a snake that you own? Are they? Do you go? Are there certain snakes where you're like, that one's gonna bite me have you gotten bitten? What's like all of that stuff? But so I do want to know the answer to that question, but I also got to thinking about snake bites and the other, like, my definition of snake bite when I hear the word snake bite is a mixture of lager and cider. So you go and you order a snake bite at a bar, and it's going to be lager and then cider mixed together, and it's kind of a nice drink. And I thought of it more because I think it's like more prevalent in England, I guess.
Yeah.
So
I actually thought, and you got a bunch of questions wrapped in there. So, yeah, we get bit sometimes, generally from hatchlings, because if they see like infrared heat signature, your finger can look like the, tip of a rodent's face or something. They'll take a shot at you. It feels like sandpaper. It's nothing to worry about. The
okay,
bigger ones, if they're very defensive, if their mom's on eggs, sometimes they will, but generally the bigger ones, often you couldn't even get to bite you. And the third time that they could bite you is if mine are pretty conditioned to know at nighttime if there's activity in the room, it's probably feeding time. So if you open a tub at nighttime, they're probably
yeah,
coming flying out looking for their prey, because I've got them conditioned. I don't handle them at night. So if there's activity at night, hey, I'm getting fed.
okay,
So you can avoid that stuff. But in general, no, and especially with ball pythons, you can kind of read if you're handling it, you can read its behavior if it's going to take a shot at you. But generally not. I thought you were going to say on snake bites. So like if I go to an Irish pub and I order snake bite, sometimes they'll treat you like you're a little bit of an outsider, because there's actually varieties of the snake bite. You can have a lager and a cider. You could have a Guinness and a cider that they're going to call different than a snake bite. And I was trying to look up the list. I've actually forgotten them.
Look at even Jeremy here. My version of snake bites was tequila shot with lemon and salt, picked up by first 2 felonies on 3 bottles.
Yeah.
So even there's a different definition of a snake bite.
Right. But I thought you were going to say at the London pub, they made you feel like an outsider because you got like quizzed on what snake bite you wanted, and you didn't.
Yeah. No, I just what my thing is, and it's the same point, really, is that in different contexts, your words mean different things.
Yeah.
And they only mean different things because a group of people have decided on their meaning together. Uh, Now, a group of people is it seems like a small group of people, but what like a group of people that I'm talking about is like a whole swath of people know in this particular area what the meaning of this word is. And
Yeah.
so what it does is it creates a community. If you know what this is,
Right.
then you're a part of this community.
Yeah.
And
No other
that's
community knows what het ultramel is. But if you say that, suddenly I know you're like in the gang.
yeah. And so so if somebody uses that kind of terminology when you're we're kind of jumping ahead because I wanted to get to like a slow burn here, but if you're using that kind of terminology in this community, let's say at a show or something, and a customer comes up and or a potential client comes up and they start to use these words, you know that they've been a part of the community for a little bit of time. you know that you're a part of the same community because you have the same understanding. The meaning of these words mean something. And so automatically there's a kismet there. And then if they use it the wrong way, let's say they use the word in the wrong way, like snake bite, like
Right.
I'm expecting a Guinness and a cider together. Then and I go, hey, and that's a different meaning. They know that I'm from the outside, that
R-
you're from the outside, right?
Right. But uh, so you described it as and I think that you probably would have gotten to this point, but you described it as sort of a binary in or out of one circle. What if we envisioned it like Dante's levels of hell, but levels of ball python psychopathy, especially in a show setting? Like I'm trying to gauge from people's linguistics where they fit in this sort of hierarchy, and are they really totally insane at the furthest depths of this? This is a reverse hierarchy. It goes lower. It's a lowerarchy.
Yeah,
I just made that. That's not real, is it? Right? No, that's not.
it's a lower hierarchy.
It's a lowerarchy. It's pretty good, right? That's I'd just say. But yeah, so you might try. You might start with, "Hey, do you have any snakes at home?" Yes. Okay, cool. You're in level 1. What are you working with? What do you mean working? Okay, right there. Boom. You're in pet banana land. What are you working with? Oh, well, I just got my first breeder female. Oh, first breeder. Okay, you're in dreamer land. And I haven't. This is all off the top of my head, but I could. I feel like you could define like 7 levels of where they're at, but that's going to dictate where you start talking to them about what's on your table,
Right.
and you're not
Yeah.
like, okay, let me sell you this, because you don't want to do the hard sell. So then you're like, oh man, this is a cool thing. I'm glad you brought that up. Check this thing out. And you're trying to find where it fits in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
and then I will say there's the intriguing total non-participants. There's a phenomenon of people that you will speak to and engage, and they're standing at your table. They're within 3 feet of you,
Mm-hmm.
and they will say nothing, and they will not engage you one bit. Yet they'll be in your vending space.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Those are hard nuts to crack. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You're trying to figure out how much a part of this whole thing they are by simply listening to the words that they're
Right.
using. Yeah, yeah. And that's can be more of an indicator because you can have a novice come up to you and go and be super confident. I mean, and that is prevalent in our society is people that don't know what they're talking about acting
Right.
like they know what they're talking about.
Yeah. But you could snuff those out pretty quick though.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
Especially if you're an expert. I mean, so actually, because you brought up the word linguistics, there is this quote that I really like to use
uh-huh.
in talking about this kind of stuff, and it's from a philosopher named R.A. Marcus, and I'm just gonna share my screen quick, and here and here. So. Uh, so in learning the meaning of signs, so when we talk about signs, we're actually talking about words too. So in learning the meaning of signs, we discover a shared world and are simultaneously integrated into our linguistic community. Linguistic community. So when I use this in like my religion class, like people get hung up on linguistic community, and you've already used that word. The
Yeah.
language that you're using, the language that you use, you're actually entering into a community where a particular sound has meaning to it.
Right. Yeah. We've assigned that the sound tree means the damn piece of wood that grows out of the dirt and
Yeah.
blossoms every year. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Integration into the linguistic community is the discovery of meaning. It's the discovery of meaning. So when we talk to each other, we're discovering what things mean. When we are agreeing upon things, we're discovering what they mean. And conversely, the search for meaning heals ruptures in the linguistic community. So
Oh,
that's really interesting because there's so much argument in the world, because we're not agreeing upon what certain words mean. I think that like the first thing in like my religion classes that I tell people is like, we have to define our terms first before we can actually communicate with each other, because we use words that we think that we agree upon, but we don't really. We don't really agree upon them. So I could say one thing and I'm just speaking past the other person. So it heals ruptures in the linguistic community. These are the two signs of the liberation of captivity. Now, what Marcus says is captivity is isolation.
the
So
liberation
isolation,
of captivity. Okay, I didn't know.
liberation from
All right.
captivity, and our captivity is our own isolation. So this liberates us from our isolation by by agreeing upon what these signs and symbols mean, what these words mean. To now, this is what I really like about it. It seems a little out there, but to seek meaning with someone or to seek meaning within the community is to enact transcendence. So you're enacting, you're moving beyond yourself. You're creating a new world when you say you're creating a new world when you're saying when you're agreeing on what het pied, clown means. You're creating a new world of people.
Yeah.
Communities are constituted by how they understand their symbolic symbols in use within them. To seek meaning is to enact transcendence. So I would just posit that by inviting me on here, by
Yes,
having conversations like this,
that's true.
by by going by saying, let's invite new people into this and let's create meaning with the words that we're using. Let's focus on these reptiles. We are enacting transcendence. Adam, your
Oh,
thoughts?
my thoughts. In that spectrum there of quotation and thank you for picking that apart and presenting that, because no, it gets us thinking, and it does provide a framework. But I had a couple thoughts along the way of, yep, that's true. Yes, I agree. Ooh, now this is starting to feel snobby. Now I feel like I'm on the outside of my thinking versus how other people think. And it's like it's like we jumped a tier of that hierarchy where I was, and I was part of it, but then I got to an inner circle that I'm not part of. And I find that I'm not going to call anybody out because it sounds like a negative thing. It's not a negative thing. I had a great conversation yesterday. I did a podcast yesterday, appearance, audio only. And it's with somebody that I think is literally probably one of the smartest IQ, intelligence level people in your French press, people in the industry. And we were debating some topics. And to be honest, part of it, I just got smoked, not because my opinion was wrong, because I'm allowed to have my own opinion,
Mm-hmm.
but because I couldn't hang with the linguistics. We left Planet Adam, and I didn't, I'm not going to be able to sling the Latin words of hybrid species of other
Right.
reptiles. I
Yeah.
wasn't in that gang.
Yeah.
And that's not that person's fault to make sure that I'm being drug along. They're not in a
Right.
mean
Yeah.
way. They're not concerned whether I'm a part of that circle or not. That's my responsibility to learn all that stuff. But I didn't. And it's much like the audience probably felt. Somebody commented earlier, this whole wine thing sounds like people gaslighting each other over goat urine. Yeah, but if you're in that circle, you sort of get a kick out of that thing, because you're always trying to find the perfect identifier for whatever little nuance you can find. We're always trying to find the perfect description for how a snake looks. We're trying to put words on something that are visual. So
Mm-hmm.
it's two different mediums that we're trying to figure out how to make it work. So we use these crazy words. But it can be exclusionary. And I think a lot of times, much like the wine world, we get so caught up in our own linguistics and our own, I know this and I can talk about this, that people go, and then you wonder, everybody that's vended has looked around the room and gone and found somebody. They go, how in the hell is that dude making any money? And why the hell would anybody buy any snakes from that person? For all of our snobby reasons or our legitimate reasons. The snakes don't look healthy. Their display is a disaster. They're whatever judgments are flying through our mind. And I would bet that person sells the snakes because they keep it down to earth and they figure out how to connect and not exclude people with their highfalutin nonsense. And I think it's important to remember.
Yeah. So the flip side of creating a community by agreeing upon what certain sounds and signs and symbols mean, the flip side of that is you're creating an outsider.
Yes.
You're creating an other. You're going, okay, this is what we agree upon, but an outsider, and it happens all the time.
It almost has to, by definition, right?
Yeah.
I mean, so you're in the group, that by definition means there's people that aren't in the group.
I think about my time working with the military. I mean, the military is just acronyms. That's how they talk to each other.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
It's like, is
alphabet
this a different
soup, right?
language? I don't. Yeah. Even you're working at a university, higher education. Again, acronyms and crazy. Yeah. So you enter into this community and you immediately, because of the way people are talking to each other, you immediately feel like an outsider. You immediately feel like I'm not a part of this. And so I wonder, even the title of the podcast this morning, you used the word pedantic.
Oh, purposefully. And for the record, I Googled pedantic. Pedantics is actually not a word. I made that up, but I thought it fit and flowed with
Semantics, pedantics. Yes.
Yeah. Semantics and pedantics.
And I think that's the negative side of this. I think the beautiful thing is that
hang on.
So
that we're not excluding anybody, because again, I had to Google it myself. Let's talk about what pedantics mean.
Well, I looked it up as well.
Okay, good. So we're all in the same boat here.
Because I kind of had an idea, but I have it right here. But pedantic is an insulting word used to describe someone who annoys others by correcting small errors, caring too much about minor details, or emphasizing their own expertise, especially in some narrow or boring subject matter.
Yeah, it's like this flex of it. It's
a flex. Yeah,
it is the embodiment outside of that little circle. It is the embodiment of saying in a general conversation, "Oh, this reminds me of goat urine."
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah, and it's the negative side.
I love that our viewership just shot up above 20. You know, it went from about 14 to 20. So there's 6 people that just went to themselves. Did he say effing goat urine? Yeah, I did. You heard right, folks. All right, continue, Joe. I've cut you off twice now on this topic.
It's the positive side of what we're talking about is the beautiful community that you creating. The negative side can be when that community becomes pedantic and they start to exclude people purposefully for not knowing certain things, And how often does that happen? And how often does it create problems with people? I think we have even gotten to a point where it is, I sometimes worry. I'm a very inquisitive, curious person. I sometimes worry about asking particular questions and saying, I just don't know. But I worry about asking particular questions about certain people because for some reason they expect me to know. And that makes me turned off. That makes me turned off in a certain way. So in any kind of community, whether it's what we've talked about, this even studying theology, getting into that, or getting into accounting work or anything. I mean, it's kind of like, well, you don't know that. And I wonder how often does that happen in this community? Is there a way? And you said it perfectly. The person who's selling the snakes and you're going, why can they're probably, maybe they're not as entrenched in all of this, and they're
Right.
that's why their animals are bad, and that's why the reptiles are bad, and that's why they're selling them.
I have two really specific thoughts before, and we're going to get to those before I wrap up in response to that. And I think they're important. They're important to me to share because they are special to me. But I do, before we forget, I do want to tell everybody special. We're going to jump shows of sponsors. Charlie at Gray Riders in the audience, but he sponsors the Tuesday night show. Charlie at shedtesting.com, Gray Rider Reptiles just released the sunset test. You go to the shedtesting.com right now and get your sunset test for 40%, not 40%. I'm lying. $40, not no percent. $40 flat rate for your sunset test on shedtesting.com right now. So thanks, Charlie, for the support of the Proper Royals brand. And he's been a good friend and a help. And I have to go. I almost forgot. I got to go up to FedEx today to pick up some snakes from Charlie as well, which I'm pretty excited. Yeah, man. Also, Cold Blooded Cafe, guys, they're running a massive summer sale right now. You can get deep discounts, and you can still apply the promo code proper11 at checkout. You're going to get 11% more off. So time to restock that freezer. Get your orders in. They also have ASFs, gerbils, and crawfish in stock. I don't know any ball python that should be eating crawfish, but if you have monitors, those sorts of things. But ASFs and gerbils can be a great thing to get your males back on food at the end of breeding season. Same with moms after they've just laid. Check out Cold Blooded Cafe. I'm a huge fan, and I use all of their, not all of their products. All of my snakes that eat frozen thawed use only Cold Blooded Cafe. Last but not least, Reagan, Renee, Royal Pythons. That's Charlie Ryan out there in New Jersey. I think, Charlie, correct me. I think Charlie's in the audience. I think Charlie has a sunset het clown, not sunset, puzzle het clown project still on Morph Market, unless it's sold, but check it out. If it's sold, fantastic. Congratulations. If it didn't, 1.1 breeder of puzzle het clown project on Morph Market right now. It is an investment. Not anybody else will be working it the way that you are with the breeder combos. Also, Charlie's working with DG, Candy, G-Stripe, Krypton, and Pied combos in single, double, triple, and quad hats and visuals. You could get all the different ingredients that you need for all of your cool projects. Go check out Reagan, Renee, Royal Pythons. Last but not least is Keith at Kreative Genetics. I think I said last but not least twice, but just think that over. That'll give you something to think about. Keith at Kreative Genetics, Fresno, California. Keith is working the Stranger Codom into singles, doubles, and triples as well, certainly with VPI, Clown, and Pied options. And Keith and I are working. I've got his breeder stud Clown Axanthic male, and that boy's doing some work. So we will have a ton of Clown Axanthic project combos, visual hets, double visuals, double hets. Those will all be available. Hopefully starting like 2 weeks from now through the end of the year. I think we'll have 8 or 9 clutches from that male. So stay tuned. Thank you to all of the sponsors, and thank you, audience, for hanging out, and especially hanging out through the sponsor shout outs. So thanks, guys. Joe, my two thoughts. I will end on the snake topic. So let me switch to the wine for just a moment. Wine fits this conversation perfectly because stereotypically it is snobbish, it is exclusionary. We use these words that make people feel insecure, if not insignificant. There's this tradition of some sort of wannabe mental superiority. Mm-hmm. Something I was so proud of. There's the governing licensing body of the wine world is called the Court of Master Sommeliers. Could you not sound more highfalutin than the Court of Master Sommeliers, right? But that is the recognized body. And if you are certified through the Court of Master Sommeliers, you immediately jump to the front of the line when it comes to lines on your resume where people care about that sort of thing. So and there's 4 certifications: introductory, certified, advanced, and master. And there's only been like 200 masters in the history of the world, of, dating back a couple centuries of this organization. One of the things that they tell you on day one day one of introductory level sommelier training and certification. So it's a 2-day course, and then you have to come in with a really strong foundation, blah, blah, blah. In your practical, they tell you, no matter how much you know, how much technical knowledge you have, how intricate your studies have been, if you are not welcoming to the guest, hospitable to the community, and growing the appreciation of wine, you will not pass. They will throw you out of the class. It's totally subjective. It's not up for debate, and it's not up for review. You will fail in the moment, and they throw you out immediately if you treat people that way.
Okay.
And I thought I took so much pride in that, because there's a fine line between a community that you're in and out of, which we forget can become incredibly exclusionary in an instant because we get so full of ourselves, when at the end of the day, we're talking about fermented grape juice that the natural sugar and the natural yeast in the air get together, bang, bang, boom, boom, and they make this beautiful freaking alcohol wine that we've turned into this incredibly complicated, highfalutin nonsense.
Right.
And that is something that I think that we forget sometimes in our own community. We wonder why sales are bad. We wonder why the market is saturated, yet we stroll around making fun of people that don't know this or want to buy this gene or think that, this would be neat, when that's the foundation of everything that we do. It's just cool. It's just a cool looking snake that we happen to manipulate by pairing a couple different ingredients from Mother Nature. And more power to anybody that could sell multi-$1,000 snakes. I dream of that. I want to accomplish that. But I think we get so full of ourselves that we forget the person that just goes, the audience will know more of what I'm talking about than you, Joe, ironically. So here's the exclusion to Joe and the inclusion of other people. The people that want to buy the blue-eyed leucistics and the cool banana combos or the dreamer that doesn't fully understand that a het to a het produces a 66% chance of a het outcome. Those are the people that are the next in line. They're the ones that are the foundation of our future growth, because otherwise it's just our little circle. And let me tell you, one of these days, we're all going to realize that our little circle is BS. We're just shuffling money around to the same place. From a hobby standpoint, that's fine. From a business standpoint, this is me and my own little rant, but from a business standpoint, that's a fool's errand. That's shooting ourselves in the foot, man, because you're going to run out of people immediately. That circle is not big enough to sustain really anything, even one person. So I just want to caution people or encourage people to use that mindset that something as highfalutin as the court of master sommeliers will fail you, throw you out on day one if you make somebody feel unappreciated, unwelcomed, or insignificant in that world. Boom, you're done. Take it next time.
And okay, so two things. One is you can do it unconsciously. You can be exclusionary unconsciously.
You have to be conscious of it.
Yeah. It actually, to not be exclusionary, you have to work at it. Like, it doesn't just happen, which is strange because you're working against what you've learned in order to include more people.
Yeah, do you forget the joy and the awe the first time you see a piebald or a banana and you go, what? The 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4 right now in front of my face in this little animal. Do we forget that awe and that joy and that intrigue where we go, I have to understand that?
Yeah.
Because the person that would have made us feel that way, we might have found another one that didn't make us feel that way, or we might have walked away altogether and be, hog showers. Who knows? We wouldn't be sitting here all together. And who are we to think that's not as valuable?
So the other thing, and it's in response, because all of this wanting to be a part and learn more, all come from the same place. We're just at
Right.
different levels of being a part of the community. And
Yeah.
that's what I like about the quote that I shared is it's all about our liberation from the captivity of isolation. It's all about being liberated and being a part of something. And when we're like, well, you don't know how to use the right words, then you're actually denying the thing that got you there,
That's
the
right.
thing
Yeah.
that got you into the community.
Yeah, what you like there's a finite amount of joy that goes around. So if you share it, you're gonna get less yourself. Get the heck out of here, you know. So yeah, and I know that I made a comment earlier that I was sort of lost when we got to the liberation of isolation in your quote, but I will say this community, whether it's these shows, doing lives with Joe and on Tuesday nights, or it's doing shows in person and vending, that's become the majority of my human interaction. And I went from working daily with certainly tens of people, if not hundreds of people, depending on the season or the event or a wedding or tournament or whatever going on, to being cooped up in this. I love this basement. We've outfitted it quite nicely as far as basements go, but there's not another human being in sight. So days can go by that I don't see another human other than my wife and my son. And that I have noticed that leads to some isolation and a different I wouldn't say, I don't want to classify it as a mental health struggle, but it is a mental health concern of mine that I do watch, because I found that the opposite end of the people interaction was causing me a whole lot of mental health stress leaving restaurants. That was one of the reasons that I did leave. So there is a fine balance there, but I find that this world, this community fills that gap, and it's very helpful and important to me. So I hope I always say it. I hope my actions always show it, but everybody's welcome here. If you have questions, ask them. I'm so proud of this audience and the people that have supported me along the way, because a lot of people, let's face it, it's easier to sell exclusionary drama, clickbaity stuff. It's a lot harder to sell a title like Snakebites, Semantics, and Pedantics. And so I'm really honored and thankful that everybody's here. And that's what I got to say, Joe. Welcome to you too. The whole idea is the dude that knows nothing about reptiles sitting here with us, man. I love it.
Yeah, same here. I mean, ditto. That's where we end up. Ditto.
That's right. Have you been practicing your line recently, Joe?
I mean, the future is brightening allylic combinations.
You're in the group, man. You made it.
Did I get it right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I think the future, you can always end any snake ball python combination or conversation with.
I feel liberated from my captivity.
Isolation. That's right. Your captivity, of isolation. It's so good. Yeah. Any conversation you need to get out of, you could just end it with, well, I think the future is brightening allelic combinations. Guys, I got to run. I got to get up to the hotel. Thanks. Have a great day. All right, Joe. Have a wonderful day, man. Audience, thank you so much. What are you up to? Anything fun this week you got, man?
Not really. No, I can't really think outside of the next 2 days. I got a lot of work, but we have we're doing 4th of July next week, right?
Yeah. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, we are going to kick off normal schedule. Your 4th of July. Joe will dress up as Uncle Sam, and I'll be Adam. And we'll kick off the festivities right here with a little fireworks next week. Maybe we'll figure out how to tie that in.
Sounds good.
Oh, well, that's a good idea too. I like that. For the audio only crew, Creative Reptiles says, I thought Joe was going to let a snake bite him. Totally clickbait. Next time Joe and I are together, we're going to work on this.
I don't know. We'll see what happens.
See how it goes. All right, guys. See you next week. Same time, same place. Cheers.
Thanks,
guys.
everybody.